Well, what do you know? The proverbial shit has hit the fan. Evoto, wow, they didn't just upset photographers with their new AI headshot feature, they triggered something bigger. And I'll put it out there. It looks like it's going to be a collapse in trust because before anyone panics, no, this is not an episode for an accusation. It's more an examination. And, legally speaking, it's only my opinion. But there are photographers out there. And I just scrolled through Instagram right now before I came on to do this, right? I counted 19 reels and posts about this from various other photographers across the world. They are feeling betrayed. Now I had to translate a few into because they were all in English, and I'm a rubbish monolinguist, although I'm learning Norwegian. People are very unhappy and they feel betrayed. So we're going to talk about what actually happened, what we can and can't say about it. Okay. So welcome to the Loud Lens, a podcast where we talk about the uncomfortable side of the photography industry without the hysteria and without the hero worship. This episode is already emotional for a lot of people, and this is exactly why we need to slow it down. So this is a little bit out of my schedule for normal. I'm literally packing right now for the societies because I'm speaking there. So if you're there, please come and see me. But I was also on a shoot and I got ping, ping, ping messages like, Khandie, have you seen what's happened? Have you seen what's happened? And before we go any further, I want to be crystal clear about what this episode is and what it is not. So this episode is based on publicly visible product features, public available marketing language, and community responses observed at the time of recording, okay? I'm not making allegations of illegal activity. I'm not presenting insider knowledge either. I am not stating confirmed facts about the proprietary data, internal processing, or training methods. Any references to intent, impact, or perceptions are framed from the photography community's viewpoint and not verified claims. If details change, clarifications are made public, and additional transparency provided in that context, then this conversation may evolve. That's my legal side. That's what I was told to say. Isn't that great? Look at me. I'm such an adult. I got legal advice. Well, that said, let's talk about what has caused such a reaction. Now, Evoto, is that how you say it? Evoto didn't enter this industry as a neutral tech company. They have positioned themselves, in my opinion, very clearly towards photographers as a retouching assistant, as a workflow tool, as something designed to support the working professionals, i.e., photographers pay to use it. They've uploaded clients' work. They have integrated it into their businesses, their workflow, and that relationship is incredibly important because it's not a casual use. It's very much based on trust. As with a lot of things, you have a subscription. No, I don't use this brand. I need to let you know. I have been reached out to numerous times to take part in using them and also hype them in various ways, but I haven't done it. Okay, I'm not that way. So anyway, at some point, an AI headshot generator became visible. It wasn't like a little sketch or a placeholder, a functioning feature producing generated headshots. Alongside this, there were marketing languages circulated referencing the benefits such as reducing or saving studio costs. Now, that language alone, regardless of intent, is what has really escalated this, if I'm honest, this situation, in my opinion, because perception matters. Now, you might think, is it not because it's an AI generator? No, I want to say saving studio costs because it's a flashpoint, right? It's something that's really got people. And I said there was 19. In fact, I'm scrolling right now and I can add 5 more different ones to that, okay? Sorry, I pressed one. I need to delete that from this recording, although you probably won't hear it. Okay. So the studio costs represent the like physical space, the equipment investment, insurance, training, time, all sorts of things. Being able to do what you do as a headshot photographer. So when a platform perceived as a photographer focused platform appears to celebrate bypassing all of that, that's a red flag to people, in my opinion. It doesn't feel like a progress. It feels like you're trying to replace photographers. Even if that was not the intention, the impact of that messaging has caused a huge backlash, and I mean it. Now, there is things that need to be handled very carefully. Many photographers, when I was reading on Reddit and all of that, were raising concerns about whether images uploaded to the platform could have been used to train the AI models. At the time of recording, there has been no independently verified, publicly detailed confirmation exactly where that data was or how it was used or where they obtained it from. That does not mean wrongdoing occurred, but it certainly doesn't say it has occurred, okay? So, but it's the lack of transparency that has created uncertainty, and uncertainty definitely erodes trust. An industry that deals with faces, likeness, client imagery, clarity isn't optional. We also have issues with the fact that if we have uploaded it, do we have consent from our clients for it to be used in training? I mean, there's someone else brought that up. I'm not going to go too heavily down this route right now. But imagine you are paying a system that would help you do your work quicker, faster, and more efficiently. But what they are now doing is something that would cut you out completely because people can do it themselves. They don't need to go to the studio now. They can just buy a subscription and do it themselves. Now, I will say, following the action, messaging appeared suggesting the feature was an idea, an experiment, or a concept. The challenge in that explanation is, if I'm honest, is the perception to the people who saw it. A feature that somehow seemed to be fully built, or at least functioning and presented with benefit-driven languages. That doesn't feel like a concept. That felt like, okay, we've created this, let's launch it. This gap between explanation and experience is where this frustration is growing, because people have this idea, well, we saw it and it's been screenshotted and lots of big names are talking about it and there is a lot of anger about it and they're saying, oh no, it's not what we're doing. I also want to just say I feel really bad right now because there are people, I believe, on a booth at Imaging USA, which is a massive photographic thing in America happening right now. The trade shows like these are where relationships are repaired or damaged. And right now, there are people on that booth. Please, please, please don't be a douchebag and go up to them and make their life awkward, because they've probably not even been briefed properly and they do not make the decision on this, I'd imagine. Somewhere, Evoto has gone, this seems like a great idea. And no one's gone, oh no, we've just bit the hand that feeds us. Urgh. Okay. Now, I don't know what's happened, but maybe through their presence, dialogue, and accountability, they can rebuild that trust. Now, I don't know if Evoto are going to choose to engage publicly or not, but the industry has noticed, and heavily noticed. Now, this reaction did not come from anywhere for people, right? And it's not just about Evoto. We need to, like, they've made a mistake. I'm not sure what's going to happen to them and how people are going to. I do know a lot of people are cancelling their membership, but I think you're locked in. I don't know how it works. And I'm not here to go after them. I have to be very careful in how I do this episode. Photographers are already aware of platforms monetizing their labor, tools quietly shifting from assistive to replacement, and creators being treated as data sets and, rather than the partners or the clients that they are. So I'll be honest, while Evoto became a focal point, the frustration is systemic. Like, people are seeing it all the time. All right. I don't know what the answer is, but here's my take carefully and clearly. AI is not inherently unethical, in my opinion. Yes, we have had many examples where it's been used awfully. Okay. I've seen examples where it's been used beautifully. Okay. Outside photography. But trust is something that is incredibly fragile and is going to be very hard to rebuild. If you build a platform on the backs of creative professionals, you have a responsibility, in my opinion, to communicate changes transparently and respectfully. And as for photographers, your input is not based on your value is not based on your output alone. Panic doesn't protect you, so you need to position yourself. Okay, is the experience, direction, and confidence that you bring to a shoot perfect? Because I'll be honest, that human element you bring, no generator can replicate. All right, and it looks like they've pulled this package completely. Right, they've pulled it off. Like, it's not there. That doesn't mean that AI headshot generators do not exist. And in fact, I went on Facebook and saw some already, people doing them. And I'll be honest, they're a little bit of a vanity portrait. Like, you do not look that good, honey. You are great looking, but that is smoother than a baby's butt, right? So for me, yeah, I would love to know though, how they trained the AI generator. If they did use people's images, that's going to be a further break. But right now, as it stands, there's a lot of people, I think a lot of very hateful language is being used. I'm not here for that. I don't know how they're going to go forward, but I do think an apology is not going to just cut it. I think, yeah. Now, there are a lot of retouch softwares out there that use AI. I use Retouch for Me. I've used Capture One. I have not used Evoto. I have been asked a number of times to use it, and I've been offered things, but I have not done it. Now, that's not because I didn't like them or anything like that. It didn't enter my head to use them. I was already using somebody else. But what I will say is, AI generated headshots are a thing that happens. It's just very sad that a platform that uses photographers to basically pay for it have now created a product, or should I say removed a product, or in their ideas it was just a concept or whatever they said, that would potentially put some out of business or at least make it harder. I think that's a disappointment, and these are just my opinions. Okay, so I need you to, like, take a minute and just not be I mean, some people are like, "Oh, we need to go to the," I'm going, "We're gonna need to go to the stand and we need to have out," like, people on the stand don't know, darling. Don't be like that. But it's an interesting debate because AI is, I think there's a really bad use of AI. There has been, and we've seen this now with the thing with Elon Musk and his AI thing and what's being used for it. And the law has now changed in the UK to prevent the seedier, gross, disgusting side of AI being used to generate pictures of people in certain ways. Um, for me, I find it uncomfortable if in my personal opinion, if I was using a system that I didn't know they were training AI on, and they then released a product that could essentially really affect my bottom line because they're basically saying, "Don't worry about the studio. You could just drop your picture in and we'll create it for you." I mean, maybe I've misheard it wrong and I've understood it, but it's an interesting discussion. So this episode is not a verdict on them. It is a snapshot of a moment and a reminder that how technology is introduced matters just as much as about what it does. If you have thoughts, informed, calm, constructive, I want to hear them. Don't be the douchebag. This has been the Loud Lens. I've been Khandie, and I'm going to go. I hope I'm legally covered. I did. I said everything she told me to say. See you all soon. And if you're at the Society's Roadshow, this event in London this weekend, I will see you there. Take care, my loves. Interesting one, isn't it? Hot debate.